Stop what you're doing and listen to this. 7 guys from one company now control almost everything you do online. I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory. I'm talking about cold, hard facts. LinkedIn? PayPal guy. YouTube? PayPal guys. The first investor in Facebook? PayPal guy. Tesla and SpaceX? PayPal guy. The company that helps the CIA track terrorists? PayPal guy. The guy who's secretly one of the most powerful investors in Silicon Valley, and you've probably never heard his name? PayPal guy. This isn't coincidence. This is the most successful corporate takeover in tech history, and it all started when eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion in 2002. These 7 men took their money, their network, and their ambition, and systematically built an empire that touches every aspect of your digital life. By the end of this video, you're going to realize that the PayPal Mafia, yeah, that's what they actually call themselves, has probably influenced your life more than your own government. And the most successful one? It's not who you think. Let's start with the obvious one. Chapter 1. Elon Musk, the face of the Mafia. Everyone knows Elon now, but let's go back to 1999. Elon founded X.com, an online banking company that he merged with Confinity, which became PayPal. As CEO, Elon pushed for aggressive growth and expansion beyond just payments. He wanted to build a comprehensive financial services platform, but the board had other ideas and eventually replaced him with Peter Thiel. Here's the thing, though. Even after being ousted as CEO, Elon remained PayPal's largest shareholder. When eBay bought PayPal in 2002, Elon walked away with $165 million. Most people would buy a yacht and retire to an island. Elon? He immediately dumped $100 million into SpaceX, a company trying to make rockets reusable, when NASA was spending $450 million per launch. Then he put $70 million into Tesla, an electric car company, when everyone said EVs were golf carts for hippies. But here's what's insane about Elon's post-PayPal run. At SpaceX, he didn't just throw money at the problem. He became chief engineer, learning rocket science from scratch. He revolutionized manufacturing by bringing everything in-house and using rapid iteration instead of the traditional aerospace approach of perfecting designs on paper for years. At Tesla, Elon pushed for the Model S when everyone said luxury EVs would never work. He personally drove the design process, obsessing over every detail from door handles to the touchscreen interface. The result? Tesla went from near bankruptcy in 2008 to becoming the world's most valuable automaker. Tesla's now worth over $800 billion. SpaceX is valued at $180 billion and has fundamentally changed space exploration, and Elon became the richest person on Earth. But here's the crazy part. Elon's actually not the most successful PayPal Mafia member. That title belongs to someone else. And when you find out who it is later in this video, you're going to be shocked. Chapter 2. Reid Hoffman, the Network King. Reid Hoffman was PayPal's VP of Business Development and the guy who figured out how to turn digital payments into a viral growth machine. At PayPal, Reid pioneered the concept of paying people to refer friends, literally inventing growth hacking before it had a name. He realized that payments are naturally network effects businesses. The more people who use it, the more valuable it becomes. After PayPal, Reid took that network effects obsession and had this wild idea. What if we made a social network, but for work? Everyone thought he was insane. In 2003, social networking meant Friendster, and that was for dating. Facebook was still just for college kids. MySpace was for bands and emo teenagers. Who wants to network professionally online? Reid did. And he didn't just launch LinkedIn, he architected it like a master chess player. He started with his own Rolodex of Silicon Valley contacts, then used the same viral mechanics he'd perfected at PayPal. LinkedIn's genius wasn't the technology. It was Reid's understanding that professional networking is fundamentally different from social networking. He built features around actual business needs, finding colleagues, discovering job opportunities, and establishing professional credibility. But Reid's real brilliance was in the data. At LinkedIn, he realized that professional relationships create incredibly valuable data sets about industries, career paths, and economic trends. LinkedIn wasn't just connecting people, it was mapping the entire global economy. Here's what's insane. LinkedIn now has over 900 million users across 200 countries, and Microsoft bought it for $26 billion. $26 billion for what everyone initially dismissed as Facebook for suits. But Reed didn't stop there. He became Silicon Valley's unofficial kingmaker, using his PayPal network and LinkedIn insights to identify the next big things. He was one of the first investors in Facebook, Airbnb, Zynga, and dozens of other unicorns. At Greylock Partners, Reed's investment thesis is simple. Bet on network effects businesses because he learned at PayPal that networks compound value faster than anything else. The guy literally wrote the playbook on scaling startups. And I mean literally. He co-authored Blitzscaling and the Startup of You. Reed essentially created the modern framework for how Silicon Valley thinks about growth. Chapter 3. Chad Hurley and Steve Chen, the video revolutionaries. At PayPal, Chad Hurley was a designer who created the company's original logo and user interface, while Steve Chen was an engineer working on the payment processing infrastructure. They were part of the core team that made online payments feel safe and simple for regular people, not just tech nerds. But here's the crazy origin story. After PayPal, Chad and Steve, along with Jawed Karim, couldn't easily share videos from a dinner party in 2004. So they decided to build a little website to solve this problem. That website was YouTube. Initially, they were actually trying to create a dating site called Tune In Hookup, where people could upload video profiles and rate each other. When that completely flopped, seriously, nobody used it. They pivoted to general video sharing in February 2005. Chad became CEO and brought his design sensibilities from PayPal, making YouTube incredibly simple. Anyone could upload, anyone could watch. Steve, as CTO, built the technical infrastructure to handle massive video files when most websites could barely handle photos. They solved compression, streaming, and storage problems that seemed impossible at the time. But here's what made YouTube revolutionary. They didn't just build a video platform, they created the first true creator economy. Chad and Steve realized that content creators needed to be rewarded, so they pioneered the partner program, letting creators share in advertising revenue. This wasn't just altruism. They understood from PayPal that you need to incentivize the people who create value on your platform. The growth was insane. Within 8 months, they were serving 8 million videos per day. By December 2005, they had 25 employees and were burning through cash trying to keep up with traffic. Google saw the writing on the wall and bought YouTube for $1.65 billion in October 2006. Let me repeat that. They went from "we can't share videos" to $1.65 billion in less than 2 years. YouTube now has over 2 billion logged-in monthly users, generates over $28 billion in annual revenue, and is worth an estimated $300+ billion. Chad and Steve didn't just create a video platform, they fundamentally changed how humanity consumes entertainment and information. Chapter 4. Peter Thiel, the Puppet Master. Peter Thiel wasn't just at PayPal, he co-founded it. As CEO, Peter was the strategic mastermind who turned digital payments from a pipe dream into a billion-dollar reality. At PayPal, Peter developed his contrarian investment philosophy. Look for monopoly businesses that can dominate entire markets, not just compete in existing ones. After the eBay sale, Peter did something completely different from his PayPal colleagues. Instead of building one company, he decided to fund an entire ecosystem and play puppet master to Silicon Valley. First, he co-founded Palantir in 2003, a data analytics company that's so secretive, it's basically the tech world's CIA. Peter saw that governments and large organizations were drowning in data, but had no way to make sense of it. Palantir's software can analyze massive data sets to identify patterns, track terrorists, predict fraud, and even help companies optimize their operations. Here's what's wild about Palantir. Peter basically created the real-world version of the surveillance technology you see in spy movies. The company works with the CIA, FBI, NSA, and military, helping them connect dots that human analysts could never find. During the hunt for Osama bin Laden, Palantir's software helped intelligence agencies piece together the network that led to his compound. The company's now worth over $20 billion, and Peter turned data analysis into a weapon. But Peter's most legendary move happened in 2004. A 19-year-old Harvard sophomore named Mark Zuckerberg had this little college website called the Facebook. Every Silicon Valley investor passed on it. College social networks seemed like toys. Peter saw something different. He wrote Mark a $500,000 check for 10.2% of the company, when Facebook was valued at just $4.9 million. That investment? It's now worth over $1 billion. Peter didn't just get lucky. He understood network effects from PayPal and saw that Facebook could become a monopoly in social networking. Then Peter did something even more radical. In 2011, he created the Teal Fellowship, paying brilliant kids $100,000 to drop out of college and start companies instead. The tech establishment called him crazy. "Education is important," they screamed. Peter's response? "Show me the results." The results? Teal Fellows have created companies worth over $400 billion combined. We're talking about the founders of Ethereum, the creators of Figma, the team behind Luminar Technologies. Peter literally proved that entrepreneurial talent matters more than credentials. But here's Peter's real genius. He doesn't just invest in companies, he shapes entire industries. Through Founders Fund, his venture capital firm, Peter has backed SpaceX, Airbnb, Spotify, and dozens of other unicorns. He's basically playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers, positioning himself at the center of every major tech trend. Chapter 5. Max Levchin, the technical genius. Max Levchin was PayPal's CTO and the technical wizard who actually made digital payments possible. Before Max, online payments were basically impossible because of fraud. Every transaction was a gamble. Criminals could use stolen credit cards, create fake accounts, and disappear with the money. Max built Gauss-Seibel-Levchin test, an early CAPTCHA system that could distinguish humans from bots. But more importantly, he created PayPal's fraud detection algorithms that could analyze thousands of variables in real time to identify suspicious transactions. Max's system was so sophisticated that PayPal's fraud rate dropped below traditional credit card processing, something everyone said was impossible. At PayPal, Max also pioneered the concept of viral growth through payments. He realized that every transaction creates a network effect. When someone pays you through PayPal, you're automatically introduced to the platform. Max built the technical infrastructure to make account creation seamless, so receiving money became a path to adoption. After PayPal, Max founded Slide in 2005, creating widgets and games for social networks like Facebook and MySpace. This wasn't just entertainment. Max was studying how people interact with technology, collecting data on user behavior that would inform his next move. Google bought Slide for $200 million in 2010, primarily to acquire Max's team and their understanding of social mechanics. But Max's real masterpiece came next, Affirm, launched in 2012. While everyone was focused on mobile payments and cryptocurrency, Max saw a different opportunity. He realized that credit cards are fundamentally broken. They hide the true cost of purchases with interest rates and fees that consumers don't understand. Affirm is Max's attempt to rebuild consumer lending from scratch. Instead of revolving credit with hidden fees, Affirm offers transparent installment loans at the point of sale. The technology is incredibly sophisticated. Max's algorithms can approve or deny loans in real time, analyzing thousands of data points to assess creditworthiness without traditional credit scores. Here's what's genius about Affirm. Max didn't just create another payment method, he created a more honest financial system. Every loan shows exactly what you'll pay and when, with no hidden fees or surprises. It's PayPal's transparency philosophy applied to consumer credit. Affirm went public in 2021 and is now worth over $8 billion. Max has processed billions in transactions and fundamentally changed how people think about buying things online. Most people have never heard of him, but he's probably processed more of your payments than any other single person alive. Chapter 6. David Sacks, the product visionary. David Sacks was PayPal's COO and the guy who turned Peter Thiel's vision into a product that normal people could actually use. At PayPal, David was obsessed with user experience. He realized that payments technology meant nothing if people couldn't figure out how to use it. David pioneered PayPal's viral referral program, where users got $10 for signing up and $10 for every friend they referred. This wasn't just marketing. David understood that payments are worthless unless both parties have accounts, so he gamified network growth. He also led the integration with eBay, turning PayPal from a peer-to-peer payment experiment into the backbone of online commerce. After PayPal, David did something unexpected. He went into enterprise software. In 2008, he founded Yammer, which was basically Twitter for companies. While everyone was building consumer social networks, David saw that workplace communication was stuck in the stone age of email and meetings. Yammer allowed employees to share updates, ask questions, and collaborate in real time across departments and locations. David didn't just copy Twitter's interface. He rebuilt it for professional use cases, adding features like file sharing, project management integration, and enterprise security. The growth was explosive. Within 4 years, Yammer had over 5 million users across 85% of Fortune 500 companies. Microsoft saw the writing on the wall and bought Yammer for $1.2 billion in 2012. David had essentially created the template for workplace collaboration tools that Slack and Microsoft Teams would later follow. But David's influence goes far beyond building companies. He started Craft Ventures and became one of Silicon Valley's most influential investors, backing everything from Airbnb to SpaceX to Reddit. His investment thesis combines his PayPal experience with enterprise software insights. Find companies that can create network effects in professional settings. Here's where David gets really interesting. He's also become one of the most vocal advocates for free speech in tech. David regularly speaks out against censorship and cancel culture, arguing that Silicon Valley's power should come with responsibility to protect open dialogue. The PayPal Mafia isn't just building companies anymore. They're shaping how we think about technology's role in society. Chapter 7. The most successful one you've never heard of. Remember how I said Elon wasn't the most successful PayPal Mafia member? Meet Keith Rabois, the guy who's been involved in building more billion-dollar companies than almost anyone in Silicon Valley, and most people don't even know his name. At PayPal, Keith was VP of Business Development, and he was the guy who actually closed the deals that made PayPal indispensable. Keith negotiated partnerships with eBay, banks, and merchants that turned PayPal from a cool technology into critical infrastructure. He understood that successful platforms need both sides of the marketplace, buyers and sellers. After PayPal, Keith became Silicon Valley's secret weapon. He joined LinkedIn as VP of Marketing and helped Reid Hoffman turn professional networking into a viral growth machine. Keith pioneered many of the growth hacking techniques that LinkedIn used to reach its first 10 million users. Then Keith became COO of Square. Yeah, that's Square, now worth over $30 billion. As Jack Dorsey's right-hand man, Keith built the business operations that turned Square from a cool gadget into a payments empire. He led the expansion from simple card readers to comprehensive point-of-sale systems, business loans, and financial services for small businesses. But here's where Keith's story gets insane. He became a partner at Khosla Ventures, then Founders Fund, making investments that read like a who's who of tech unicorns: Airbnb, Lyft, Ramp, Opendoor, DoorDash, Stripe. Keith has been involved in building or investing in companies worth hundreds of billions of dollars. Keith's superpower is operational excellence. While other investors just write checks, Keith actually helps companies scale. He advises on hiring, product development, and business strategy. When Airbnb was struggling with international expansion, Keith helped them figure out local market dynamics. When Opendoor was perfecting their home buying algorithm, Keith guided their data strategy. The guy has been involved in transforming payments, PayPal, professional networking, LinkedIn, small business commerce, Square, travel, Airbnb, transportation, Lyft, real estate, Opendoor, and food delivery, DoorDash. He's like the shadow kingmaker of Silicon Valley, the guy who turns good ideas into billion-dollar businesses. Here's what makes Keith truly terrifying. He doesn't just pick winners, he helps create them. His portfolio companies regularly collaborate, share insights, and cross-pollinate ideas. Keith has built his own mini ecosystem within the broader PayPal Mafia network. Chapter 8. The Network Effect. Here's what makes the PayPal Mafia truly unstoppable. They never stopped working together. This isn't just nostalgia or friendship. It's strategic collaboration on a massive scale. Peter Thiel invested in Elon's SpaceX through Founders Fund. Reid Hoffman and David Sachs have backed each other's companies multiple times. Keith Rabois has invested in or advised almost every major PayPal Mafia venture. When Max Levchin was building a firm, he got advice from the entire network about payments, fraud detection, and scaling. They've created this incredible flywheel where success breeds more success. When one of them identifies a promising entrepreneur or technology, they share intelligence across the network. When LinkedIn needs enterprise sales expertise, David Sachs provides insights from Yammer. When SpaceX needs growth strategies, they tap Reid Hoffman's viral marketing playbook from LinkedIn. Think about the scope of their influence. LinkedIn connects 900 million professionals globally. YouTube serves over 2 billion users monthly. Tesla is revolutionizing transportation and energy. SpaceX is making humans a multiplanetary species. Palantir is analyzing global intelligence data. Affirm is rebuilding consumer finance. Square is powering millions of small businesses. These 7 guys didn't just build companies, they built the infrastructure of modern digital life. Every time you watch a YouTube video, connect on LinkedIn, buy something with a card reader, get an Uber, book an Airbnb, or even think about going to Mars, you're experiencing the PayPal Mafia's vision of the future. So there you have it, how 7 guys from PayPal systematically took over Silicon Valley, and by extension, your daily life. From social networking to space exploration, from video entertainment to intelligence analysis, from professional networking to consumer finance, the PayPal Mafia's fingerprints are on everything. But here's the craziest part. They're not done. Elon's pushing toward Mars colonization, Peter's funding life extension research, Reid's exploring AI and the future of work, Max is rebuilding financial services, David's investing in the next generation of enterprise tools, Keith's backing the companies that will define the 2030s. The question isn't whether the PayPal Mafia will continue to dominate Silicon Valley, it's what they'll conquer next.